I'm Jean Augustine. This year, hello? Hello?
Hi, Counselor Santos. Can we test your audio, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Hi, Counselor Toure. Can we test your audio, please?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Counselor Presente. Can we test your audio, please?
Sound check.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Counselor Power. Can we test your audio, please?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Check 1 2. Testing audio. Check 1 2.
As we begin today's meeting, we'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories, the Mississaugas, the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations who have called this land a home since time immemorial. Please all rise for the singing of our national anthem, to be followed by a moment of personal reflection.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Welcome to our regular council meeting of January 21st, 2026. In the council meeting, we have Deputy Mayor Singh, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Pleshy, Councillor Brar, and online to the clerk, we have
Through Mayor Brown, online we have Councillor Santos, Councillor Visante, Councillor Fortini, Councillor Tour, and Councillor Power.
Thank you. This takes us to approval of the agenda, and the clerk has a number of additions.
Through Mayor Brown, the following items were included in revised agendas. 8.1, the government relation matters, the presentation was added and further updated. 12.2, summary of recommendations from the Planning and Development Committee meeting January 19th. The summary was added. Bylaw 18.10 and 18.11 were added to the agenda following the Planning and Development Committee meeting. And 19.7, the closed minutes were added to the listing for open session.
Okay, do any other members have any additions? Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With the acting solicitor, I've discussed it and add an in-camera discussion pursuant to section 239B of the Municipal Act that deals with matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees.
Okay, 19.8. You said Councillor Tour too? Councillor Tour.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to add 2 items to the agenda, but I'm not sure if the second one would be needed. A similar item to what Councillor Keenan has added in camera, a discussion about an identifiable individual, but I don't know if we can lump those together as one item or if I would need to add a separate item.
Have you spoken to the city solicitor?
I have not had the opportunity yet.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I have no details of this matter at this time, but I'm willing to listen if we want to talk offline, but perhaps it could wait till another day.
If we could add it to today's agenda, but I should be at City Hall in the next 2 minutes and I can pull you aside and we can chat. And if it is no longer needed, we can take it off the agenda.
Okay, well, hold as a placeholder as 19.9.
And I have a second item as well, Mr. Mayor, to add to the agenda, a discussion item regarding council meeting procedures.
Okay. That would
Thank
be.
you.
What item would that be? That will be 16.2. Councilor Medeiros.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. My apologies. I want to declare a conflict of interest regarding in-camera advice. I don't know if I have to state the in-camera advice, or I can speak to legal counsel on the side, just out of abundance of caution, just regarding advice we're getting. I don't know if I can declare what the
Through you,
conflict
Mr.
is.
Chair, I believe he can declare a conflict
Oh.
in a more broad manner and.
Okay,
and,
it's just the advice we're receiving.
certainly
I live on the street, so I just want to, out of the abundance of caution, just declare a conflict of interest regarding that item.
Sure, that's up to you. Obviously, I can't provide advice about
Yeah, no,
conflict
sure,
of
but
interest,
I-
but it's whether you have a direct or indirect pecuniary interest
Yeah.
in the matter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the clerk will so note. So we have the amended agenda. moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Pleshy. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. We have noted Councillor Medeiros' conflict. This takes us to the adoption of minutes. Do any members have comments regarding the minutes from December 10th? I don't see any. I have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Medeiros to approve the minutes as published and circulated. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our consent motion. I'll start reading the relevant agenda items, and members can identify any items to be held for debate. 8.1, Government Relations Matters. 10.51,
Hold,
staff.
please.
So hold Government Relations for Councillor Tor. 10.51, Staff Report, Installation of Replica City Gates of Ponta Delgada at Azores Park. 12.1, Minutes Committee of Council. 12.2, Summary Recommendations, Planning Development Committee. 16.1, Referred Matters List. 19.1, Closed Report, OLT Appeal. That's for 4 Alderway Avenue. Hold. 19.2, Closed Report, OLT Appeal, 69 Bramley Road. 19.3, Closed Report, Committee of Adjustment, 11075 Clarkway Drive.
Hold, please.
And 19.2. 19.4, Closed Report, Development Approvals Process Technology Solution. Hold. 19.5, Closed Report 2026 Budget Update. 19.6, Closed Report 2-Year Artificial Intelligence Pilot.
Hold that one, please.
Closed Session Minutes, City Council, December 10th. No. Okay. Yes. Okay, so we have the consent motion. The clerk will summarize those items to be included on the consent motion for approval.
Through Mayor Brown, the following items will be included on the consent motion. 12.1, Minutes, Committee of Council, January 14th. 12.2, Summary of Recommendations, Planning and Development Committee Meeting, January 19th, 2026. 16.1, Referred Matters, and 19.7, Closed Session Minutes, City Council, December 10th, 2025.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, my apologies. I had pulled the one item, but as I see, there's only a couple of individuals, and maybe they, for them to wait through the process, I think if there's no other thing, I'm happy to just put it back into consent.
Oh, this is for the Azores Park?
gates, yeah.
Okay, we can put that into consent then too. Okay.
Okay, we'll add 10.5.1 to
Yep.
the consent motion.
Okay. I have a motion moved by Councilor Madero, seconded by Deputy Mayor Singh to approve the consent motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our proclamations, and we have 4 proclamations today. We'll start off with the Deputy Mayor, who will be doing the proclamation for Orthodox Heritage Month.
Whereas during the month of January, we celebrate the Orthodox community in Brampton. Whereas January is a significant time of year for the Orthodox community, which celebrates Orthodox Christmas on January 7th and Orthodox New Year's on January 14th. This month provides an opportunity to learn more about the rich culture and history of Orthodox residents. Whereas we recognize, acknowledge, and thank the Orthodox community for their many contributions to our city, including culturally, economically, and socially. Orthodox residents form an important part of the Brampton 2040 vision, living the mosaic. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim January 2026 as Orthodox Heritage Month in the city of Brampton. Thank you.
Is there a representative here from this recognition? Okay, great. Did you want to respond to the proclamation? Please come to the microphone, yeah.
On behalf of the Orthodox members that live within this community and the greater Peel region, we'd like to thank the city of Brampton for this proclamation and recognition of our continued support and love for the city and being recognized officially. It means a great deal to us. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you could stay seated, when we finish the proclamations, we will take a photo with the proclamation and present it to you. Our next proclamation is with Councillor Brar, and that is for Kawasaki Disease Awareness Day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kawasaki Disease Awareness Day. January 26th is the anniversary of the day in 1961 that Dr. Tomisaku Kawasaki began to recognize a cluster of symptoms that led to the classification of Kawasaki disease. Kawasaki disease is the leading cause of acquired heart disease in children and affects children around the globe. Over 50 years later, the cause of the disease is still unknown. Early diagnosis is a matter of life or death and or lifelong coronary distress. Early detection is critical. Increased awareness of early symptoms imperative to diagnosis and effective treatment. Kawasaki Disease Canada is the only Canadian national charity working to improve outcomes of Kawasaki disease and strives to be at the forefront of Kawasaki disease issues by collaborating with families affected by the disease and medical professionals. Kawasaki Disease Canada supports international partners in the quest to increase awareness and is pursuing this proclamation across Canada. We want Kawasaki disease to be the top of the mind for Canadians to increase awareness and save children's hearts from the effects of Kawasaki disease. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim January 26, 2026 as Kawasaki Disease Awareness Month Day in the City of Brampton.
Thank you, Councillor Brar. Do we have a representative of the organization here today? I don't see so, but we'll make sure they get a copy of this proclamation. Our next proclamation is for the National Day of Remembrance of the Quebec City Mosque attack, which it will be on January 29th, and we have a ceremony here at City Hall. But for the proclamation, I'm asking Councillor Toor to please share it with the public and those watching at home.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mayor Brown. Whereas January 29 marks the National Day of Remembrance of the Quebec City Mosque attack and action against Islamophobia, designated by the federal government to honor the survivors and victims of the vicious assault on worshippers at the Islamic Cultural Center in Saint Foy, Quebec City in 2017. During this attack, 6 people lost their lives and dozens of others were injured. It took the lives of Ibrahima Berry, Mamadou Tanu Berry, Khaled Belkami, Abu Bakr Tabti, Abdul Karim Hassan, Azuddin Sufyan. We remember and honor them. Brampton has 70,000 Muslims represented by imams through faith places across the city. These imams lead congregations throughout Brampton. Vigils and memorials will be held across the city and country. The community will create awareness for this day at local masjids and encourage prayers for those who lost their lives. The National Council of Canadian Muslims is leading the National Day of Remembrance of the Quebec City Mosque attack and action against Islamophobia in Ottawa. Together, we will confront Islamophobia and all forms of hate, breaking down barriers to foster a united Brampton. We envision a city grounded in love, care, and mutual understanding, where our diverse community stands together. Therefore, I, Mayor Patrick Brown, on behalf of Brampton City Council, do hereby proclaim January 29, 2026 as the National Day of Remembrance of the Quebec City Mosque attack and action against Islamophobia in the city of Brampton. Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Councillor Toor, and I will encourage all members of council today to wear this green square when we present the proclamation, and again on January 29th as a symbol of our solidarity against Islamophobia. And this green square represents the carpet of that masjid that faced that terrorist attack of hate, and it's a symbol of our city's support and stance against hate. Responding to this proclamation, I believe we have a representative from NCCCM, Basma Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good morning, everyone. My name is Basma, and I'm here representing the National Council of Canadian Muslims. NCCM is a national organization that combats Islamophobia across Canada. We engage in public policy, public engagement, advocacy, public education, legal action to build a more inclusive society. I want to thank you all for inviting us here today for the proclamation of January 29th as the National Day of Remembrance of the Quebec City Mosque attack and action against Islamophobia. Leading Brampton Council, Mayor Patrick Brown has supported advancing all of the key municipal recommendations to tackle Islamophobia that NCCM has brought forward for Brampton and also nationally. Brampton was then the first city to adopt those recommendations for Islamophobia and for other municipalities across Canada. Over the past year, we have worked together to welcome newcomers, to stand up for Canadian travelers' rights at the border, and to strengthen community safety while upholding charter-protected fundamental freedoms. Just yesterday, Mayor Brown became the first big city mayor to take a clear stance defending religious freedom, defending Bill C-9. He sent a letter to Minister Sean Fraser to express concerns, particularly the amendment that removes the long-standing good faith religious expression exemption. Mayor Brown rightfully outlined that such amendments can discourage lawful expression and undermine public confidence. Your support and commitment to combating Islamophobia and all forms of hate are deeply appreciated by our community. We also want to take a moment to thank all the Brampton councillors here and dedicated staff like Urs Ir and Mohsen Kermali for their leadership in advancing change and challenging Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian racism to help foster a safe and more inclusive city. We look forward to working more with the City of Brampton to fight for a Canada where everyone, regardless of faith, can live without fear. Let today be a day where we recommit to combating Islamophobia and remembering that hate kills. And without stronger policy and community-driven initiatives, true justice cannot be achieved. Thank you.
Thank you for your eloquent words, and we will present the proclamation to you once we finish the proclamations. We have one more proclamation, and Councillor Paleshi was eager to read this proclamation on behalf of the city. February is a special month in the city of Brampton. It is Black History Month, and Councillor Paleshi has the proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Black History Month is a time to recognize, honor, and celebrate the achievements and contributions of Black Canadians. The year 2026 marks the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, first established in 1926 by Dr. Carter G. Woodson, and formally recognized in Canada in 1996 when the House of Commons declared February as Black History Month, ensuring that the histories, cultures, and contributions of people of African descent are acknowledged, celebrated, and preserved. In August 2025, the city's Black Empowerment Unit commenced the Black Voices Consultation, a citywide engagement process designed to inform a comprehensive 5-year action plan to eradicate anti-Black racism. This plan, developed in partnership with Brampton's diverse communities, city staff, organizations, and other stakeholders, aims to deepen culture and systemic change and deliver more equitable outcomes for Black Bramptonians. The City of Brampton proudly acknowledges the significant contributions of Black residents to the city's growth, vibrancy, and identity across business, education, arts, culture, sports, innovation, and public service, and reaffirms its commitment to advancing equity, dignity, belonging, and opportunity for all. Residents are encouraged to participate in commemorative events on February 7th, including the flag raising at 4 p.m. at Kenwillan Square and the opening event at 5 p.m. in the Rose Theatre. There are also various programs throughout the month of Brampton Libraries and the Rose Theatre that honor the legacy, achievements, and ongoing contributions of the Black community. On behalf of the City Council, Mayor Patrick Brown hereby proclaims February 2026 as Black History Month in the City of Brampton. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Paleshi, and I believe we have a representative to speak to Black History Month, and I'm told that is Mona Walrod. Mona, the floor is yours.
Just give it to him. He's going to sign it.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, Mayor Brown, Council, and City staff. Please turn your attention to the screen. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jean Augustine. This year, 2026, marks 30-year celebration since I rose in the Parliament of Canada to move that we recognize February as Black History Month. And as we reflect today, we recognize it was a transformative motion that catalyzed important conversations and brought some progress. This year, the Government of Canada has a theme, Black History theme. 30 years of Black History Month, honoring Black brilliance across generations, from nation builders to tomorrow's visionaries. It recognizes the enduring legacy of Black Canadians whose leadership, creativity, innovation, and resilience have not only shaped our past, but continue to influence our present and will inspire future generations. To each and all, regardless of race, please join me in celebrating our shared Canadian history. Black history is indeed Canadian history. Thank you.
Thank you. We are directors of Black Youth Empowerment Advocates of Peel.
I'm Allison Robinson.
I am Mona Warren, and this morning we have Natural Green, who is our outstanding youth leaders.
Good morning, all. I want to begin by thanking you, Mayor Patrick Brown, for creating leadership opportunities for us Black youth in the city. They have allowed me to gather more skills to be what I am today, that is being the lead tutor of a basic computer skills for seniors class at Mahogany Place. I thank you for this Black History Month proclamation. We are grateful for this meaningful recognition that honors the rich history and contributions of Black communities across Canada. Our partner, Mr. Dewitt Lee, the third from Caretakers of Our Culture, is attending Lincoln Alexander Day celebrations in Hamilton today. Our third director, Trisha Dennis, is away today. Special thanks to Miss Gwyneth Chapman, who has been a rock for us, Miss Candace Carter, Miss Cindy Ann Williams, and Mr. Garnett Manning for the continued support. Thank you, guys. Apologies.
Thank you. And we will be presenting this proclamation shortly to you. I have asked members of council to join me, and we'll present the Orthodox Heritage Month proclamation, the National Day of Remembrance of the Quebec City Mosque Attack proclamation, and the Black History Month proclamation.
Wait here. They want me to give us a proclamation.
Okay, if we could ask those chatting to do so outside of the council room. We've got a busy agenda today. This takes us to our next section, which is government relations matters. And Andre or Chris will be. Chris, the floor is yours. Andre, okay, Andre. This was held by Councillor Tor. Would you like the presentation or is it a question? Okay, we've got some questions for Chris and Andre then. And I have one too, so thank you, Councillor Tor, for holding it.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Just addressing one of the slides here at AMO talked about homelessness. I know there's been a call for a more national or provincial strategy. Could you just briefly summarize that? What the call is from AMO?
Thank you, Councillor. And through the Mayor, Councillor, you're correct in regards to the slide. AMO has released on January 13 their latest report on the state of homelessness in the province, which points out that as of 2025, there were approximately 85,000 people in the province experiencing homelessness, which is a rise of 8% year over year and 50% since 2021. And constantly with the release of a report, AMO has renewed its call to the province to urgently introduce funding over the next 10 years to the tune of $11 billion to help boost supportive and community and transitional housing, as well as increase preventive programs across the province. Because as you will be well aware, homelessness is an issue that's affecting communities across the entire province. And this report also builds on a recent call by Ontario Big City Mayors, who in early December asked the province to declare an emergency due to homelessness levels across the province, largely driven by mental health issues as well as addictions.
Have we heard anything from the government of Ontario if they are working on a policy or how they're planning to address homelessness?
Through the Mayor, Councillor, I don't believe we have heard a response from the province.
Just say that again, sorry.
I don't believe we have heard a formal response from the province yet.
Thank you for that. I believe we have something in our budget that addresses or talks about homelessness. I see a nod, so I'll not ask those questions now. I'll save that for our budget discussions at the budget meeting. Thank you for that, Andre. And lastly, I just want to actually make a few comments. I don't see it in the presentation here because it was just happened earlier this week. But I hope that Canadians and everybody present here got the opportunity to hear and watch our Prime Minister take on the world stage and give what I would say a landmark speech that is being applauded across the globe. A very powerful speech. And it fills me with a lot of pride as a Canadian to see a Canadian leader at the forefront of what we call a new chapter in world history right now. His speech talked about our sovereignty, about Canadian strength, about Canadian resilience, but also talked about the impressive work that the government has done so far over the last, in just a span of 6 months, engaging in 12 trade agreements around the world and inviting the world to join them and more, finding allyships based on common ground and not focusing on the differences between us and other countries. Not waiting, he said this much eloquently than I can summarize it, but he talked about how meeting the world as it is, not waiting for the world that we want it to be. And I think it is very powerful. The words that he shared, my wife and I watched it together, so I would encourage residents and anybody listening online, watching online, if you haven't had the chance yet, to definitely take a moment to listen to our leader speak at the world stage. The world respects Canada for what Canada is, and I think it gave me a lot of hope as Chair of Economic Development, looking at the international trade that we're engaging in right now, the levels at which we're engaging with the world right now. It is very promising, and I hope that it holds the best interest of Canadians and Canadian businesses and Canadian workers in the coming year ahead. It also makes me very glad, and we kind of have this moment where like we almost had a Prime Minister that speaks in 3-word phrases, to seeing a Prime Minister get up on stage and speak for 20 minutes and deliver those remarks. If I could request, maybe formally, if Mayor Brown would want to send a congratulatory letter or note to the Prime Minister on the work that he has been doing for Canada at the world stage. I think it is remarkable. It is historic.
Direction from council, moved by Councillor Toor, seconded by Councillor Medeiros. All those in favor? Motion carries. We'll write that letter, and Chris will help draft that.
Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Since we've held the GR update, I did want to take advantage of the opportunity to ask about the new federal legislation, Bill C-9, since it was referenced today by the representative of NCCM, and how it diminishes freedom of speech for freedom of religion. And this council, a number of years ago, when we had the attack on religious freedom with the legislation in Quebec, we were the first city to really speak against it. At the request of NCCM, I wrote a letter yesterday expressing concern, and Councillor Pellechy made the point to me, wouldn't it be stronger if council had a motion to that effect? Maybe you could just brief us on this new legislation, and I think Councillor Pellechy makes a really strong point that maybe we should weigh in as a city as well. And I see the representative from NCCM is still here, and I did get correspondence from our Interfaith Council that our faith leaders in Brampton are concerned about this legislation. Previously, you could read religious scripture and it wouldn't be criminalized. Obviously, it was written in a different historical time, and there's concern from all our faith leaders that this would inhibit free speech. And so if you could provide any update to council, and if maybe this is something we could do, write a letter on as well. And thank you, Councillor Pellechy, for bringing that up. Yes.
Thank you, through the mayor. So Bill C-9 was the anti-hate combat legislation that was introduced by the federal government. Our understanding is that it's been in committee for a number of months, specifically. And there was an amendment that was introduced by the Bloc Québécois that was approved by, accepted by the Liberal members of that committee as well. That has raised concerns that religious free speech and free speech that may be said in places of worship could be used. Criminal charges could be brought forward using that. Beyond that, our understanding is it hasn't passed. It has not become law yet, and we're happy to take direction from council on that.
I think we have a representative from the Interfaith Council and NCCM. Would that be something that would be viewed as helpful? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you want to come to the podium, and I believe this could be moved by Councillor Pellechy, second by Councillor Toor.
I mean, yeah, I just want to bring to attention NCCM fully supports the push against the harm and really villainization of religious freedom. So we really support Mayor Brown's statement that was released, and if there's anything else that NCCM can do to help get more municipalities to do the same, we're there to support.
And on that note, I know if Rasmina Urs from the Interfaith Council could speak to that. I understand Pastor Randy has been speaking about this as well. Has the Interfaith Council taken a position on this? Just for the benefit of council?
Through you, the Interfaith Council has been receiving word about Bill C-9 and that more consultation is required. I know Pastor Randy had expressed, Randy Nielsen from Hope City Church Brampton had expressed concern and requested leadership from our council, and so we're really happy to see this letter. I sit as a co-chair of the Interfaith Council, and I know there are others, including, from what I remember, the Toronto Board of Rabbis had also expressed concern about this. It puts a lot of faith leaders and faith institutions in jeopardy based on this Bill C-9. So thank you very much for your leadership.
Okay, well, thank you. I think so. Maybe the benefit of the clerk. We have a motion moved by Councillor Paleski and Councillor Tour to write a letter to the Government of Canada about concerns centered around Bill C9 and request additional consultation with faith leaders and law enforcement who have expressed concerns. And just to say, I think this is consistent with our long-standing advocacy around religious freedom. And I believe Councillor Paleski wants to speak to this. I also see Councillor Medeiros on the board. Okay. Okay. Councillor Paleski on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just maybe if we can work with Chris on what that looks like, because I don't want to take away from, the good of the anti-hate. But, certainly, I don't appreciate them mixing, good with the bad. So if we can specifically take a look at this, Chris, and really define in that letter what we don't support, what the community doesn't support, then that's something that I think that we can start off with, and then the letter on behalf of council.
Sure. Through the mayor to Councillor Paleski, sure, we're happy to work very closely with our colleagues and the Interfaith Council to identify, parts of the bill that we think council would support and parts that are of concern, and then bring that back before any other. Thanks.
Okay, moved by Councillor Paleski, second by Councillor Tour. All those in favor? Motion carries, and just note we should CC AMO and FCM on that letter. Our next speaker is Councillor Medeiros.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and my apologies to council. I just want to go back and follow up on some of your comments, Councillor Tour, and just related to the work that we did here. When you think about the travel, and this is, I want to recognize your leadership, Mr. Mayor, on this. When we hear right now our Prime Minister going around the world trying to diversify markets, if you think about in this term of council, many of you and this council have been doing that. So it's almost like how opportune it is when you think about when we were looking at markets, for example, in Africa, the Caribbean, we're talking about going to Europe, we're talking about looking at the Asian markets, and it's a reflection of the staff as well. At the time, sometimes people maybe don't understand the strategies, but it almost seems that we were, to a certain degree, forefronting understanding that, we had to diversify markets here in Brampton, and it's great to see right now, you see the Prime Minister and you see the government really focusing on that because of what's happening from our neighbors. So it's, I think, just a recognition to staff that we are on the right path and continue to sort of do that work, and obviously work in conjunction with the federal and provincial counterparts. But it's a good reflection, and I think it's sort of sometimes when we get unfairly criticized, I think now it sort of bear fruits on some of the work that we've been doing. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Medeiros. I don't see any other questions or comments about the government relations report. So moved by Councillor Tour, seconded by Councillor Brar to receive the government relations presentation. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
This takes us to our next item, which is, we've already actually adopted on consent the Azores Park 10.51. So to the clerk, 16.2. And that was Councillor Tour.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Just wanted to have this as a discussion. Not sure if it will result in, a formal change in procedure right now, but talking to staff across the corporation over the last few weeks, many staff expressed that, they are back at work 5 days a week, but sometimes we don't see, the same leadership at council table. By that, I mean, since COVID, council had changed the way we operate. We're allowed to participate virtually. This morning, I was able to participate virtually, and if you've noticed this week, I've been starting my meetings virtually and then coming in person, and that's because of dropping my child off to daycare and having to split that work with my wife. I think it is only fair that if council showed the same leadership that we expect from City of Brampton employees as well, that have had to make alternate arrangements for whether it's childcare needs, whether it's their living arrangements, it's their travel arrangements for coming to City Hall 5 days a week. I think, we're past that COVID period now. We're back here in person. I believe that council meetings need to start and finish with council attendance being in person. Having the virtual option for public participation is still a great option because we are during work hours and public can still participate remotely. But for members of council, I believe that we need to all be at the table. And that's not a knock on anyone on this council. We have all have had the privilege of participating virtually many times during this term. But I feel like going forward, maybe we need to reconsider at this table that for council meetings, for any committee meetings, that we participate in person only for, public session of the meeting, for closed session of the meetings as well. Those are just some of the comments here.
So the clerk just advised me we have a governance committee on February 2nd. Maybe that's a conversation we can have there as well. Councillor Plushy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since we're talking about procedures and stuff, after we're trying to shorten the span of time that it takes to do things, and our proclamations have been getting, sometimes they're like 15 proclamations and the pictures and stuff. What I really need to happen is somebody to take control over. We want to take pictures with everybody. Fantastic, but we have a photographer. We don't want them then coming in and, oh, wait, let's take a picture with this phone and that cell phone. Sometimes we've had staff up there with like 4 or 5 cell phones. No cell phone pictures. We have our photographer. He takes a picture. Anybody can contact them to get those pictures. But then, let's also have security or whomever kind of escort that person. And there's no order to it. If we can try and find some kind of order so that we can just move it along and get going with the business of the corporation. I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, good suggestion. Okay, so do we need a motion for this, or just add this to the governance agenda?
Yeah, I'll just refer this to the governance committee meeting.
Okay.
So that we can have this discussion there, and let's see if there's an outcome.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Torres, seconded by Councillor Medeiros. All in favor? Motion carries. Our next item to the clerk. Public question period. Yeah. Any questions online? Any questions in the chamber? Seeing none. Move to bylaws. We have a motion moved by Councillor Plushy, seconded by Councillor Brar, to approve the bylaws 1/2026 to 11/2026 inclusive. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our closed session business. We have a lengthy closed session agenda today. I have a motion from Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Keenan, to move into closed session to deal with the following items. The clerk will so note.
To Mayor Brown, we have 19.1 OLT appeal for 4 Alderway Avenue, 19.2 OLT appeal for 69 Bramley Road, 19.3 Committee of Adjustment Decision 11075 Clarkway Drive, 19.4 Development Approvals Process Technology Solutions, 19.5 2026 Budget Update Follow-Up Report, 19.6 2-Year Artificial Intelligence Pilot Proof Concept Program Update, and we have added 19.8, a discussion item regarding an identifiable individual, and 19.9, a second discussion item regarding an identifiable individual.
Okay. That was moved again by Councillor Brar and Keenan. All those in favor, motion carries. This meeting is now recessed in order for council to consider its closed session business. Members of council, after we recess, please join us in 15 minutes in committee boardroom CH4A. To members of the public watching today's meeting, all meetings of council must start and end in public session. After closed session is completed, council will reconvene in public session to complete its business on today's agenda, including reporting out any actions arising from this closed session portion of the meeting, passing and confirming by law to confirm the proceedings and decisions from this meeting, and adjourning the meeting. In the continuing interest of transparency and open government, I will report in public session any outcome from today's closed session business. Over to the clerk to report the actions taken in closed.
Through Mayor Brown, today in closed session, the following items were considered. 19.1 was discussed, direction given to staff. 19.2, discussed, direction given to staff. 19.3, discussed, direction was given to staff. 19.4, the direction was given to defer to the February 4th meeting of council. 19.5 and 19.6 were discussed and direction given to staff. 19.7 was the minutes that was approved on consent and not discussed in closed session. 19.8 and 19.9 were both considered, but no direction was provided at that time.
Thank you. I have a motion, which is our confirming bylaw. A motion moved by Councillor Toor, seconded by Deputy Mayor Singh, to approve the confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings and decisions at this meeting. The motion is on the screen. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to adjournment. Our next council meeting is Wednesday, February 4th at 2026 at 9:30 a.m. I have a motion moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Keenan, to adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor? Motion carries. And just to note for awareness, the budget meeting, which was planned for Friday, it will be removed from your calendar. We're going to have those discussions at the planned time on Tuesday to give council additional time to get the responses that were requested.